Yo, guess who's back in the building? Your boy Qwan, and I'm joined by the homie Cooley. Cooley, the coolest man in the
What's
world.
good?
Still out on bail, fresh out of jail.
Out on
California.
bail.
Man got a
California
California
dreaming.
hoodie.
Hey,
Yeah,
shout out
man.
to Jaden
Shout out
Smith,
to Jaden.
baby. I was there. We was both there at that show,
Yes,
but we weren't
sir.
together. It was random. But of course, I'm also joined by I don't know who this is today. I was gonna say Sylvan A. Smith, but he looking like the people's champ. Who is that?
It's the Don, baby. Come on, man. You know, just because I got some glasses and a nice little blazer on, and the last championship that mattered, besides the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, doesn't mean anything, man. I'm still me, man. I'm still Sylvan. Come on.
Sylvan the Don, the IC
Sylvan the
champ.
Don.
Yo, I kind of want that belt off of you, bro. How much
Nah.
you selling that for?
Selling. Come
Let
on,
me
man.
get that.
Selling. Come on, man.
Let me get that.
Come on, man.
So, fellas, it's a lot going on in the wrestling world today. There's a AEW pay per view, AEW Revolution. Are y'all watching?
I'm watching for one in particular
Come
thing.
on, dog. Come on.
man,
How y'all
I gotta
not gonna watch Revolution?
I'm watching.
Well, I'm gonna be busy
Revolution.
today. I gotta go to work, and I gotta go watch Tenet in the theaters, and then
Tenet.
I'm I
Ain't that
gotta
like
check out Tenet.
2 years old?
Yeah, but it came. Christopher Nolan, he brought it back to theaters like 2 weeks ago for IMAX, and I'm trying to get into that.
It's that relationship behavior, you feel me? I'm gonna go watch this 2-year-old movie in the theater. It's like
You gotta see Christopher Nolan in the theater. You have to see his movies in the theaters.
Yeah, that's
law.
facts. That's facts because that dropped during like COVID, right? So it was like no theaters were open, so it was like straight to HBO Max. But now y'all gotta watch. Y'all definitely gotta watch. Y'all gotta watch Revolution, bro. We can't have a wrestling podcast and we skipping Revolution, dog. This is Sting's last match.
Yeah, I'm
No,
definitely tuning
I'm
in for
watching
Sting.
it. Yeah, we
You ain't gotta watch it
in.
live, but you gotta watch it.
Yeah,
I
we
know
gonna
y'all
watch
hate
it.
AEW, you WWE boys, but you know what I'm saying. We gotta.
I'm
we gotta
watching
tap
it, man.
in,
We gonna tap into that pay per view, man. We gonna see Sting, do his thing, man, and climb off into the rafters.
Right. What's the
we
main
don't-
event of that show?
Yeah, what's the main event of that show, Quan? Yeah, it's a triple threat between Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland,
Swerve and Hangman.
and Hangman Adam Page.
Adam.
Saying I don't watch AEW. Come on, man.
And here's the thing: I'm sure the match is gonna be great. I'm sure the pay per view is gonna be great. But it's like there's nothing that's hooking me for this right now. I hate to say it, but AEW is letting me down in 2024.
Yikes!
They letting me down.
I think you too focused on the road to WrestleMania right now. That's what it is.
I mean, can
Who's
you
not
blame me?
focused on the road to WrestleMania? What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm too focused?
Right, like, did you not see the 40-minute promo that The Rock had on Instagram or in Twitter? When he set the camera up and just proceeded to, like, destroy, like, everybody?
It was great.
Great. He
Really
says
great.
it was
Yeah.
great. It
was
was
great.
incredible is what it was. That was one of
It
the
was
best
great.
promos I've ever seen in my life.
10 out of
Was
10.
it not?
It was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it was good. It was
It was
great.
10 out of 10 promo.
It was 10 out of 10. Big facts. But fellas, before we get into all that Rock nonsense, all this road to WrestleMania nonsense, we do got some topics to talk about. We do got some topics to get into. So should we just kick that off?
Let's get it cracking. URL TV.
All right, but look,
TV.
Come on, bro. You say URLTV.tv? Sylvan is an idiot. Wait. Speaking of websites, though, before we get into any topics, I need y'all to head over to www.homies.com. We got a website, baby. We got a website. All of our video clips are over there, as well as some t-shirts, some hoodies, and some beanies. So go check that out, please. And if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed because you don't want to miss us when we go live. Why would you want to miss my handsome face, bro? Why? Make sure you subscribed. Fellas.
Hey, yo.
Come on, bro. That was not an Ayo. That was not an Ayo. But fellas, man, I gotta ask y'all a question. How often do you get approached with the whole wrestling is fake discourse? Like, is it often? Because for me, it's been like a constant in my life. Ever since I've decided to be like outward with my love for professional wrestling, I've been getting that comment forever.
It's
Is
been
it?
it's been often for me since I was 8.
I don't get it often, but I think it's because people know how serious I am about it, and we will not have a conversation. I take it very personally.
Right.
I get
So
that
look,
so often, bro.
so for me, it's pretty often. Like whenever I tell someone I have a wrestling podcast or that I'm a wrestling fan, that question usually follows it up. Isn't it fake? Matter of fact, I was home during the holidays, right? And my mom loves the fact that we have a wrestling podcast, so she tells everybody about it. It's
Shouts
kind of
to mama.
embarrassing to be honest.
Shout out to
Shouts out to
Quan's
Mama
mom,
Quan, you
man.
feel me? But
Mom Dukes.
she always asks about you too, Cooley. She's like, "You still talk to Jay Cooley? Where he at?" But yo, my mom loves to share the info that I have a wrestling podcast with everybody in the family. So like my aunt was over and my mom is like, Quan has a podcast, right? And my aunt's like, oh, really? What kind of podcast is it? And like as soon as she asked that, like I already knew what was gonna follow. So like I'm already mentally preparing myself, and I'm just like, it's a wrestling podcast, but it's like told through a black point of view. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. And then I'm just like waiting for it. I'm just like counting down in my head. And of course it comes. Isn't wrestling fake? And I'm like, it's entertainment. That's always my reply because whenever, like, I can't get too in depth and just start explaining to her how wrestling works. So my reply is always, it's entertainment. And I bring this up because recently, and this is something that actually Sylvan referenced last week on this podcast, WWE superstars were in Australia, right? And it was clear that the Australian press didn't really understand wrestling as a culture because not only once, but twice they referred to wrestling as fake in front of WWE superstars. And it almost got physical. Like Austin Theory almost got physical with a news reporter. Grayson Waller damn near got physical with a news reporter over claiming that wrestling was fake in front of them. And that brings me to my final thing that bothered me. It really bothered me. So I don't know if you two fellas saw it, but my boy Larry David was on Bill Simmons podcast recently. And I love Larry David. I was never really a Seinfeld fan because
Legend.
Seinfeld a big legend, big legend.
Yeah.
I was never really a Seinfeld fan because how can I say this in the most respectful way? It wasn't very culturally inclined. It was kind
Hilarious.
of too white for me. Like just being honest, Seinfeld was a little too white for me. But Curb Your Enthusiasm, I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. Matter of fact, when I was sick with COVID and I was laying on my couch dying every night, all I watched was Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's like my comfort show. Even if I'm not paying attention to the TV, I like to have it on just so I can hear it. So I've probably seen every episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm about 40 times. So it pains me to say that Larry David disappointed me in this interview, man. He was on Bill Simmons' podcast, and somehow, some way, the idea of pro wrestling came up, and Larry David kind of let it be known that he ain't really jiggy with the wrestling fans. In fact, he thinks that we're kind of dumb because
Dang.
he thinks that we think wrestling is real. He thinks that we watch wrestling in the guise that these guys are really out there competing with each other. And it's disappointing to me because that's the biggest misconception about wrestling fans. That's like the biggest misconception about wrestling fans. So look, if you don't watch wrestling, if you're not a wrestling fan, I need y'all to understand. Wrestling is episodic TV. It's entertainment. We watch it the same way we would watch Game of Thrones. We watch it the same way we would watch Breaking Bad. It's entertainment. We all understand that it's scripted. We all understand that it's predetermined. We all understand that these guys are pretty much stuntmen playing characters on TV. We don't watch wrestling the same way we would watch basketball because basketball is basketball. When we watch basketball, we know what we're going to see. We're going to see men on the basketball court competing to win the game. We know what we're watching when we watch football because football is football. We're going to see men on a football field competing to win the game. But when we watch wrestling, when we watch a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown, wrestling isn't necessarily wrestling in the words of Max Landis. Like, for instance, I can take the show like WWE Raw, right? What WWE Raw is a fictional universe that WWE has, and it's like WWE is attempting to give us a collection of wrestling matches, right? But in that 3 hours, because Raw is 3 hours, unfortunately, but in that 3 hours, instead of just seeing match after match after match, what we see is things go wrong backstage, people getting into fights backstage, people sneak attacking each other, people going to the ring and calling each other out. We see soap opera esque storylines. We see matches falling apart. We see all these wacky shenanigans and chaos ensue for 3 hours, and that's what the show is. That's what Monday Night Raw is. It's not just a collection of matches. It's a story. And that's how we digest it. That's how we take it. We watch Monday Night Raw the same way we would watch Breaking Bad or any other drama on TV. We don't watch it as or in the lens of two guys actually competing to win. Like we all know that it's predetermined and scripted. So I need y'all to understand that. Because the sooner you understand that, the sooner we'll stop having these "is wrestling fake" conversations. But that's how I felt about it. I want to know how y'all felt about Larry David's
Oh my
comments.
god,
Larry
bro.
Larry David, he does not like wrestling fans. He thinks we're dumb. He thinks that we don't know what we're watching is scripted. Y'all got a message for Larry?
You know, it sucks because I like Larry David, man, and like you were saying,
Love
Quan.
him.
I've always watched Curb Your Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is very funny, and this just brings me back to a quote. You know, never meet your idols. Never meet the people that you really love because they have stupid opinions like this one. Is this camera on me?
It's on you.
That's stupid. Use your common sense. Like it makes no sense, bruh. We know that this is predetermined and scripted. We know this. Just like you go to the movie theaters and you watch your movies that's predetermined and scripted. It's the same thing. What's the difference?
Bro, it's like it would be like me approaching Larry David and being like, why would I watch Curb Your Enthusiasm? It's not real. It's scripted. That's the point, bro. It's entertainment. It's a series. It's a television series.
Oh man,
Sylvan,
I hate
man.
hate this.
How you feeling about my boy Larry?
Let's give Larry Davis some grace. Number one, he's old. This is an old
Mm.
guy. A very old man. You know what I mean? Like he's just old. Second, I personally can't. I can't give. I can't give much energy to people who ask me why I watch wrestling because it's fake. Because it just shows me that you clearly don't understand what entertainment is. And wrestling in itself is unlike any other form of entertainment that you'll ever get because it does blur the lines between reality and fiction. So much so that you would have to antagonize the person who loves it for thinking that it's actually real. Think about that. Think about that. You would have to antagonize the person who you have to antagonize the person who actually watches wrestling for thinking that it's real because the lines are blurred so much between fiction and reality. And we can get into the esoteric, meanings of what does really real mean, and I'm just going to say off bat that when most people are talking about wrestling, is it real or is it fake? The people who don't really know much about wrestling, they're talking about are these people getting hurt or not. So by that definition, yes, wrestling
It's
is
real.
very real because
Yeah,
It's
wrestlers
very
get
people get hurt
real.
hurt
all the
a
time.
lot.
All the
Wrestlers are
time.
injured all the time. They get hurt all the time. They get stiffed all the time. Now they're not going in there like the UFC where they're really going out to hurt and break somebody's bones with an intentionality. The intention in wrestling is to be safe so that your opponent never gets hurt so that they can show up to the next show. But people
Right.
are getting hurt all the time because it's a physical, not only sport, but a physical display of action, of entertainment. So, by that definition, it's automatically real. And I just think that anybody who comes in with that argument of why do you guys watch it? You're dumb, Larry David. It's fake. You just clearly don't understand what wrestling is, and you clearly don't understand the culture, and you're clearly not a part of it. And for that reason, I can't really put too much energy into you. I just can't.
Yo,
That's how I feel.
calling wrestling fake is like telling a stunt man that his job is fake. It's like, oh, you're not
Pretty
really in
much.
danger when you dived out of that burning building or when you jumped over that car into the window of another. Like, you weren't really in danger. It's like, okay, what he's doing is a stunt, but you realize how dangerous that stunt is, right? Like, there are plenty of stuntmen who have died trying to do stunts. There's plenty of stuntmen who have really hurt themselves to the point where they never walked again doing stunts. And that's the same thing as pro wrestling. Like, yes, it's predetermined. These guys are in there trying to protect each other, but you can't fake falling on like the mat. Like, that's not a crash pad. I know a lot of y'all think that might be a crash pad and it doesn't hurt to land on that, but that's usually cardboard under that ring. Like, these guys are falling off the top rope onto their backs. Do you know how many wrestlers have injury problems? Like, Randy Orton's back is torn to shreds.
Toast.
Big
His
E
back
may
is
never
toast.
wrestle again because he broke his neck live on TV after taking a belly to belly suplex on the outside of the ring, not even in the ring. This is on the outside of the ring. Guys like Mick Foley can barely walk to this day because of the things that he went through in that ring. So for you to
Kurt Angle
call
too.
wrestling Kurt Angle can barely walk. So for you to call wrestling fake is so disrespectful. It might be predetermined. It might be fixed. It might be a work, but it's not fake. Fake is the wrong terminology.
You know what I think?
What you think?
I think because most of us, we found this love of wrestling as kids. So I feel like the people that still don't understand it, they think that we're still kids because it's from our childhood and
Mm.
we shouldn't be watching it anymore. So they want to rain on our parade like, yo, it's fake. What are you doing, bro? Like, you still watching this? How old are you? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they don't understand that, being that we've learned this wrestling thing since our kids, they just don't understand it. And it just don't make no sense at all.
And look, I would love to point out for anybody who frowns their nose up at wrestling, I would love to point out the fact that many of your favorite things that you love borrow from professional wrestling. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. I remember when Floyd Mayweather was Pretty Boy Floyd, and he was out there winning boxing fights, just doing his thing. And you know who cared? Absolutely nobody, because he wasn't entertaining. But what happened? The minute Floyd Mayweather popped up with this Money Mayweather persona, counting money on camera, throwing money at the screen, all of a sudden he was the biggest star in the world. I got a news flash for you. Floyd Mayweather is playing a character. He's playing a wrestling heel. He's playing a character.
Yep.
Matter of fact, a lot of people call Muhammad Ali the greatest boxer of all time, right? Do you know who inspired the Muhammad Ali character? There was a guy named Gorgeous George who was a professional wrestler who had a flamboyant, over-the-top character. And Muhammad Ali is on record saying that he borrowed from that character to make his wrestling persona. So some of your favorites in other aspects of entertainment are borrowing from pro wrestling. So how could you turn around and frown your nose up at pro wrestling? Like, come on, man. What are we talking about?
You know, a
Kobe
lot.
Covington.
A lot of your favorite rappers are frauds. They don't do
Whoa.
anything. They don't do
Relax,
anything
man.
that they say they do in
Meek
their
Mill.
music. In
Hey,
fact,
yo.
Future went on record as saying he doesn't drink nearly as much lean as he says he does in his records. You guys still listen to him.
Facts.
I still listen to him.
Facts.
Why? Because it's entertainment. Oh, it's not real. No, it's entertainment.
It's only entertainment.
I
Hey,
believe
how
Two
it
Cooley.
Chains
is.
don't even do. I believe Two Chains said he don't even do drugs that he rap about. Like,
Doesn't even
Right.
do drugs.
Right. Hey,
But here
like
we
like
are.
Cooley said, Kobe Covington, bro. And Kobe Covington is on record saying that, he has borrowed from professional because at one point Kobe Covington was doing his thing in the UFC. He was winning fights, but you know what? He almost got cut. He almost got cut because he wasn't bringing anything to the table. He wasn't bringing any new eyes, no audience. So Kobe Covington went to the drawing board and came up with a wrestling-esque character. He started entering these fights with Kurt Angle's wrestling theme, wearing MAGA hats, doing this whole Donald Trump thing, and it's all a shtick. I know a lot of people don't realize that, and they think that this is really him, but it's all a shtick. He's really playing a wrestling character. So like you can't enjoy this stuff, but then turn around and try to frown your nose up at wrestling like wrestling is less than. Like, come on now. And I feel like wrestling is the most unique form of entertainment on
Facts.
TV by far, because wrestling is the only thing where you can see a character go from one series over to another company series and like literally become the guy. Like, let me give you an example. In wrestling, you could see a guy that starts in the bottom, like a bottom feeder character like Drew McIntyre, just kind of be like a clown for a couple years, fumble around at the bottom of the show. walk over to another company's show and become like the man, like become like a main eventer, become like the star of the show, and then leave that company over back to the other company and like be the man over there. You're not gonna see that on any other channel. Like I'm not gonna be watching The Wire and see some low level dealer like Bodie leave that show, go over to Snowfall, and then become like the man on Snowfall, and then leave back from over there to go back to The Wire, and now he's like a main level like dealer. Like it don't work like that. Wrestling is the only thing unique enough that has characters jumping around from show to show, evolving and still bringing what they had over there over back to the other channel. So like you can't down wrestling, bro. I don't ever want to see y'all downplay wrestling. Larry David, I love you. I love Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I love Leon. Leon is like the funniest character like in TV history. But you out your goddamn mind, bro. You out of your goddamn mind. I'm sorry.
Well, he wasn't watching Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. He was younger. Oh man.
This
He's
shit
an
really
old man.
disappointed me because I love Larry David, bro. I really love Larry David, but I'm like, damn, why is he treating us like this?
He was
Like,
serious too, huh? Like, he was
Bro,
dead serious.
He was dead serious. He was so condescending. He was like, "You like wrestling, but it's fake. It's fake, right?" And
Wow.
he's like the guys in the audience, they think it's real, and Bill Simmons just like, "Wait, what? No, it's like theater. It's like performance art." And Larry David is just like, "Nah, they think it's real because look how they're reacting." And I'm just like, bro, biggest misconception about wrestling fans. Like, we understand what we're watching. We understand what we're watching. And before I get out of this topic, I just want to say we might have to give people who say stuff like this a little bit of grace because I fall victim to it myself. Like sometimes I might see a shorty who's watching like, Love is Blind or one of these reality
Oh,
shows
brother.
on Netflix.
Yo, Love is
And
Blind
my
is fire.
reaction
Come
is
on,
kind of
man.
similar. No, ain't no
Love
way.
is Blind
Ain't
is
no way
fire.
it's fire.
Come
It's
on,
fire.
man.
Sylvan would be the one that's watching goddamn Love is Blind, bro.
It's tight. See, you know what I'm saying?
I was
It's
forced to
fire.
watch it.
It's
I was
fire.
forced to watch it, and I'm like,
see.
It's fire,
No,
bro.
but like I know plenty of girls who watch shows like Love is Blind and like Jersey Shore and all these random reality shows, and I kind of sometimes have an ignorant reply the same way those wrestling or those anti-wrestling fans do. I'll say things like, "Isn't Love is Blind? Like, ain't that scripted? Like, you know, reality TV is fake. Why are you watching that?" But then I got to catch myself because it's like, how can I say that about what they're watching when I'm literally watching a show based on wrestling that's like scripted? So maybe I got to give them a little bit of grace. Maybe I'm being a hypocrite, but at the end of the day, wrestling is what I love, so I'm a ride for it to the end. It is what it is, baby.
same here. We here till the wheels fall off. You dig?
Straight up,
Right.
straight up.
Straight
But
up.
look, I want to hear from the people at home, man. Did y'all hear Larry David's comments on pro wrestling when he was on Bill Simmons' podcast? Did you agree with him? Did you disagree with him? And also, what is pro wrestling to you? We all know it's a performance, and it's not real combat in the sense of like boxing or UFC. So, what is pro wrestling to you? Drop a comment below and let me know. And also, let Larry David know how wrong he was, please. Please don't let him live. Don't let him get that off his chest and just like let him rock. We gotta let Larry David know that he was tripping. He was wilding. You ain't gonna come at the wrestling family like that, baby.
It's
Ain't
an
no
old
way.
man. Truly old man.
Nah,
Yo,
I know what they
he's really
doing.
elderly. He really elderly. Like he's really getting old. And also rest in peace to Richard Lewis because he just passed away a couple days ago.
Yeah.
One of my favorite characters on Curb. Damn, no,
R.I.P.
I can't get a R.I.P. Richard Lewis.
No,
I said
R.I.P.
R.I.P.,
Richard
I
Lewis,
said
man.
R.I.P.,
Yeah,
man.
R.I.P.
Rest in
man.
peace, Richard.
Larry David
rest-
is about to be 77 this year.
It's an old man.
Damn. I hope I make it to 77 though. I hope I make it to 77.
Trying to make
We
it to
all will,
110, baby.
Right. Anyways, Sylvan, you got the title on you. You got the sunglasses on. You clearly think you Hollywood Sylvan today. So let the world know why you mad, bruh. What's going on with you?
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to firmly speak to every single one of you IWC Cody crybabies and say
Oh, God.
that
Here we go.
from the bottom of my heart, I fully understand where you guys are coming from. I get it. I rained down on you guys last week, and I took some time to have just a little bit of compassion for you all and realize that you want to watch a product that suits to your taste. But your taste sucks. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. It sucks so much that I wanted to make one point very clear. that you IWC fans have permanently solidified this world heavyweight championship and Seth Rollins as the redheaded stepchild. Number two, you put them both in a place that unfortunately they're never going to come out of. And it's unfortunate, man. Like I look at Seth Rollins as a guy who's been very aware that he's been number two to Roman Reigns for a long time. He's gone on interviews saying that I want to be that guy, but as long as Roman Reigns is around, I'm probably going to be Macho Man Randy Savage to Hulk Hogan. He has said that on record. And I was like, nah, Seth, you're incredible. You're great. And you know what? He might have been right. In fact, he's not even number two right now. He's number four.
Hmm.
Number four. And it's highly unfortunate. And you want to know how this relates to the Cody Crybabies? To the IWC? I'll tell you how it relates. Because as far as I'm concerned, we had a chance to have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So much so that Seth Rollins cut one of the most incredible promos that I've ever seen him cut. He called that other title, the Universal title, a Hollywood title, a title that's used for politics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for a moment, for a glimpse of hope, we said, maybe he's right. Maybe he is right. Maybe the World Heavyweight Championship is the real title to go after. But not you, Cody Crybabies, not you IWC fans. You said in your heart of hearts that championship doesn't matter. What really matters is Roman's title. It matters so much that Cody Rhodes has to go against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, despite the fact that we already had The Rock versus Roman Reigns. And I'm not gonna harp on that, but I'm just making sure that I get my ducks in a row to drive this point straight. I remember 2 years ago when we were all upset. We were all pissing and moaning. We were all messed up in the head. In fact, myself and the homies were really messed up in the head. You know why? Because a guy named Roman Reigns had this title, this universal title, for far too long. Far too long. And not only that, he unified with the WWE Championship to become the undisputed Universal World Heavy.
One of the worst
He was
decisions
the
ever,
guy.
bro.
He was just the guy who had all the titles. We were so upset. We didn't have a working champion. We had a guy who went part time. We were mad. We were pissed off about it. We didn't respect Roman's title reign, yada, 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 yada. So much so, we forced Triple H to create a beautiful new World Heavyweight Championship and give it to a deserving Seth Rollins. And you guys couldn't even appreciate that, could you? You couldn't. You couldn't. Let's go back to the media scrum. The media scrum where The Rock was going to come out and challenge Roman Reigns. Let's just go back to that moment for a little bit. Let's just look at Seth Rollins and what he looked like. He looked like a kid that said, I wanted to be picked on the basketball team too. But he was the last one picked. He looked like an afterthought. He looked like the guy that, he looked like the little brother you had to bring with you to go out and do ratchet activities because your mom said you had to do it. He looked like he didn't matter. This is the world heavyweight champion. And you guys did it. You guys did it. You made one of our most beloved baby faces look like an afterthought. And it's highly unfortunate. The last title that was secondary that really meant anything, in my opinion, is this title right here.
That's
Ironically,
key.
unveiled back by your beloved Cody Rhodes when he had the goggle faces on, when he was going by
The Rip
Dashing
Hamilton.
Cody Rhodes, when he was going by Rip Hamilton Jr. He brought this prestigious title back, and then Miz solidified it as being one of the most prestigious titles. And now Gunther is really the number two. He's really the number two. This title is more important than the World Heavyweight Championship, and it disgustes me.
Whoa.
It disgustes me, bro.
Here we
It
go.
disgustes
No,
me.
it's
And you
not.
know why it disgustes me? Because it didn't have to be this way. It's only this way because of you. Because you had a chance at history. You had a chance again against Rock versus Roman Reigns, something you begged for, something we begged for 4 years. And we could have had Cody versus Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. But you said it's not enough. The title doesn't mean that much. Seth Rollins, he's cool, but he's not that great. You said it. You booed that segment between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes when Seth was trying to plead to the audience and plead to Cody Rhodes that this was the better title to go for. And now we're dealing with a lead up with Drew McIntyre, wondering why Seth Rollins is so obsessed with the bloodline, business that he has no business being in. Seth is vowing his allegiance to Cody Rhodes to beat The Rock and Roman Reigns. I'm disgusted. I'm not disgusted at the booking. I think the booking's incredible. I think we're in a great space. I'm disgusted at the Cody crybabies. I'm disgusted at the
It's always their
IWC.
fault, bro.
I am the commissioner of the anti-Cody crybabies. I have deemed myself that. I am the CACC, commissioner of the Anti-Cody Crybabies Coalition. CACCC. All right, CAC. That's me, baby. That's why I wrote. That's why I wore the shades, and that's why I brought out this prestigious title to remind you of the real secondary title, because the World Wrestling Heavyweight title, whatever you want to call it, that Seth holds is number 3. And Seth Rollins, you deserve so much better. And I'm so sorry that these ungrateful fans truly do not know what they really want. They said they wanted a second WWE World Heavyweight title. They got one, and now they're pooping on it. They said they wanted Rock versus Roman Reigns. They got it, and now they're pooping on it. And you know what? Exactly what's about to happen at WrestleMania? You all deserve it. Thank you. That is my TED Talk. I blame, for the first time in my life, not booking, not WWE, not Hunter, and there's no Vince McMahon. It's us, the IWC, the Cody Crybabies. But now I am excommunicating myself, and I am the commissioner of the Anti-Cody Crybabies Coalition. Come and join me on my mission to call out our biasness and our unwillingness to cooperate with what we think we want versus what we really want. Thank you. That is my TED Talk.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Seth. You deserve
So
better.
here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing, dog. I'm with you in this anti-Cody Crybaby coalition because, like, they kind of get on my nerves a little bit. It's kind of like that, when an artist that you think is like kind of just solid has a fan base that just acts like it's the greatest thing in the world, and they just downplay everything else. So it kind of makes you sour on that artist a little bit. It's like, all right, I don't really like him no more because y'all getting on my nerves. That's kind of what the Cody Rhodes fans are doing with this whole Cody Crybaby bullshit. So I'm with you on that. But that's cap, bro. You spitting some cap right now. First of all, the IC title is definitely not the number 2 title. And the reason it's not the number 2 title right now is because fans are online crying about Gunther because they want Gunther to be the world champion. If they felt truly in their hearts that the IC title was the number 2 title, they wouldn't be begging for Gunther to go win the world championship. They would think he already had it because they would be putting the IC title above it. So that's cap. You know damn well it's cap. You know absolutely goddamn well that is cap.
Qwan.
And also, let's not be revisionist. The fans absolutely booed Cody Rhodes when he implied that he wanted to face Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins was trying to convince him that it was the real world title and not Roman's. We definitely booed. We absolutely booed. But the reason that we booed is because Cody Rhodes lost to Roman Reigns last year. So for Cody Rhodes to buy, what is it? Is it buy go? Buy for Cody Rhodes to give up a match with Roman so he can face Seth instead after he had already lost to Roman, it just didn't seem right. It seemed like you never got your get back. That's why we booed. We didn't boo because we think Seth Rollins is less than. We didn't boo because Seth is a bad champion. We booed because Cody lost to the goddamn guy last year and didn't even want to go get his get back. We was like, nah, bro. Nah. I don't want to see Cody with a championship without beating Roman Reigns. It just wouldn't feel right. It would be like, all right, you got that championship, but you never beat Roman. So what are we doing? In my final opinion on all this, at the end of the day, we just got to admit Roman is up here and everybody else is like tiers below. So no matter what, that second championship, as long as Roman Reigns has the other title, it's always gonna feel like less than that title. It just is. That's just what it is. Roman Reigns has had this damn title for what, 3 years now, going on 4 years.
Going
There,
on 4, baby.
if Seth Rollins wants his title to be looked at the same way Roman's has been, he's gonna have to hold it for 3 more years. Until then, it's not going to be on the same level as Roman's title. And that goes for anybody who holds it. If Cody holds it, it's still going to be the same. The Rock can go defeat Seth Rollins and have that title, and it's still not going to be on the same level as Roman's title. Just because Roman has had it for so goddamn long. He's had it for like a whole entire presidency at this point. So it's like, kind of just is what it is. But I'm with you on that whole anti-Cody Rhodes crybaby coalition for sure. 1,000%.
Oh, 100. What?
I see your cap and I raise you a double cap, Qwan. Now, as far as why people want to see Gunther become the world heavyweight champion, it's because he's already maxed out and broke all the records with the number 2 true championship belt.
So why would they want him to go get the
Yeah.
title that's less than?
Because
That makes no sense.
the title still has potential. You gotta understand, just because there's a real truth here that this is the number 2 title right here, the title that really matters, doesn't mean that the World Heavyweight Championship still can't be number 2. It just needs what? Another guy. It needs another guy who's more believable, another guy who feels more like a threat. You think Gunther would be who he was in this very moment without getting his hands dirty? Without slapping a few chests, without 2 bona fide killers by his side? Absolutely not. You think Gunther would be on that press scrum looking like a lost child? Absolutely not. But Seth Rollins was. Seth Rollins was. Yes, he was, my guy. And as far as I'm concerned, that's enough reason for people to want to see a legitimate guy like Gunther say, you know what? Maybe you can make this title feel a little bit more important. Because like you said, Qwan, not me, like you said, the title doesn't make the man makes the title. And has Seth really made this title feel more important?
He has.
I don't know.
It just doesn't feel
in my opinion, I feel like Seth has reinforced this as a title reign that feels a lot more filler. He feels more overexposed.
Filler?
His
All right,
baby face reign
You going
is
crazy.
great. His
He's about to make
baby
me crash
you
out
going
because he's potting.
crazy.
He's
baby
potting
face
right
reign
now.
is
He's potting.
great.
Wow.
His baby face
None of
reign
this.
is great. But as far as I'm concerned, he feels like an afterthought. Does Drew McIntyre versus Roman? Does Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins feel urgent?
Nothing feels urgent outside of Roman Reigns. The entire WWE feels like an afterthought outside of Roman Reigns. Matter of fact, we just saw SmackDown this past Friday, and the rest of the goddamn show felt like an afterthought to the bloodline.
I just want to know if that match feels urgent or not, Qwan. That's all I want to know. Does that match feel urgent?
No, because nothing that doesn't involve Roman feels urgent.
Why doesn't the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title feel urgent?
You have talked for far too long.
It's supposed to be one of the most important. I'm rebuttaling to your points, and I'm still not done with my rebuttal.
Because you're making terrible points. You're making terrible points. All right, so let me ask you a question.
How am I making terrible points if I'm asking questions that you are answering that agree to my point? I don't understand how I don't understand how it's a terrible point.
Let Qwan get his rocks off, man.
Answer this question for me. If Gunther wins the world championship from Seth Rollins, is Gunther the number 1 guy in the WWE now? Is his title on Roman's level because he won the world championship? Or is that championship still number 2 behind Roman?
Not at all.
Exactly.
You're trying to above Roman Reigns.
What are we talking about?
But see, Qwan, you're misconstruing my point. I'm not talking about Roman Reigns.
How?
Yes, you are, because I'm arguing that this is the number 2 belt. Right here.
Why isn't it the number one belt? Why isn't it
I'm
the
not
number one
talking
belt?
about number
Because
one.
nobody is leaping in front of Roman Reigns.
You're trying to convey a point that I have no business
Okay,
in
so
in arguing. I don't
your
care
point
about it
is
being the number one belt. I
all
know
right.
the
So your
number one
point.
belt. It's
So
Roman Reigns.
your point is that the IC title is the number 2 title, but we want Gunther to drop it
Absolutely.
and win the world title, so the world title can be the number 2 title.
And
now.
why do we want him to drop this title so that he can go to the WWE World Heavyweight title to make it matter, to make it important?
It's going to matter,
why
but it's
we
still going
want
to be
it.
an afterthought to the real world title.
Am I right or am I right? I'm telling you,
You
that
sound
it's not
ridiculous right now, my brother.
You're trying to come at me with this whole, well, it's still not going to be the number one title. It's still not going to be as important as
because
Roman
that's what
Reigns'
you're crying
title.
about. That's what y'all are crying
It's
about.
not what I'm crying about.
Listen,
I'm
the
The IC will
entire
never
IWC
be
I'm
the number 2
crying
title.
about the fact that this is the number 2 title. This one right here. It is. I've said it. It's why I wrote it. It's why I got the Miz glasses on. It's why I got the Miz coat on. The guy who cemented the importance of this so that Gunther could fly. It's all in the storytelling, baby. My problem right now is
Speaking
that
in
the
circles.
World Heavyweight Championship is number 3. It's number 3. It's not even good enough to be number 2.
But if
It's
Gunther,
unfortunate.
The number
If
3 title is
Gunther-
about the main event WrestleMania. Like,
if
okay.
Gunther was to drop the IC title just to chase after the world title, that's like trying to get a nomination for the Golden Globes and not the Oscars. It don't make
makes
sense.
no sense.
You guys
He-
don't.
he-
You guys don't understand what I'm saying.
You're
do you?
not making sense. We're
It's
making
okay.
sense.
It's okay.
You're
All right,
basically
all right,
saying
it's okay,
he
it's
has
okay.
the number
Let
2
me-
title, but I don't want this title to be number 2. I want the other one, so he should go
Are
get
you
that
not-
one instead.
What did I
What?
say about the World Heavyweight
What?
title? I said it still has potential
It's
to be number 2, but currently it's number 3 right now. And the
Your
reason
argument
that
is that the number 2.
the reason that Gunther is and has been number 2, and why people want him to drop this title so he can go to the World Heavyweight title is because there's potential to bring it back to the number 2 status. There's potential. And Gunther can do it because he solidified this title. He's made this important. So if he can do this, then maybe he can do that for the World Heavyweight title. Maybe he can. It's a cry of hope. It's a cry for help from the IWC.
This
I'm
man is
trying to
calling.
get that World Heavyweight title back to number 2 because it's not number 2 anymore. Now it's number 3. Am I right?
Who's in the Mania main event night 1? Is Gunther in it?
It's The Rock and Roman
that's
Reigns
right.
versus
He's not.
Seth
He's
Rollins
not.
and Cody
He's not.
Rhodes.
Why isn't the number 2 title in the main event? Since it's all that you're talking about it to be. Like, why isn't that?
Why are you bringing up points that I don't care about? I don't care about the number 1
Because
title.
these
We all
points
know the number
dispute
1
your
title.
bullshit points.
They're not BS points. This is what I care about. I care about the prestigiousness of certain titles and where they're at. It's unfortunate that the WWE World Heavyweight title isn't even good enough to be number 2. It's number 3. Who really? My God. Like what? Like, am I the only one that cares? Maybe I am.
Yes.
Maybe I am the only one that cares
Absolutely.
about
1000%
this. Maybe I'm
you
the
are.
only one that still has hope. Maybe I'm the only one that wants to hold people accountable for what they complain about. That wants to remind people of what they claim they cared about. And then conveniently forgot because things changed. Maybe I'm the only guy that wants to hold people to standards. The same way the Miz wanted to hold this to a certain standard. He wanted to remind you guys that Razor Ramon made this the coolest title in WWE at one point. He wanted to remind you guys of how hot it could be. And Gunther cemented it. So much so that now we want a different World Heavyweight Champion because Seth Rollins has been looked to look like an afterthought. Thanks again to the IWC. And we're seeing the IWC complain about it.
It's not the IWC's fault.
And so much so that they want Gunther in that seat.
Wait.
And these are just facts.
Don't say they. Don't say they because
These are
they
just
don't
facts.
want Gunther anywhere. That's you who wants Gunther there.
You just told me to my face. To my $250 Belmar glasses.
This is the Sylvan show. I'm gonna just shut up.
So you just told me to my face that that's what the IWC wanted. Am I right?
Oh, am I supposed to reply now? I thought it was just you talking. So go ahead.
Oh no, nobody's just talking. I'm making my points though.
All right, go ahead.
Am I right?
Oh, it's my turn now. Oh, it's a miracle, dog. It's a miracle. Nah,
It's
but
unf-
look, all jokes aside, Gunther is having an incredible intercontinental title reign,
He
and I
is.
think that he is probably the best wrestler in WWE right now. Like honestly, above Seth Rollins, above everybody. He's that good, and I would love to see him be world champion. But I feel personally that as long as Roman Reigns is guarding that well, is it the Universal title or the WWE title? They changed the name, right? Like I
I
don't
think
know,
it's still universal.
it's still
whatever
universal.
title that is around Roman Reigns' waist. Like until he drops that to somebody else, that title was always going to be head and shoulders above anything else on the show. So it's unfair to say that Seth Rollins feels like an afterthought because literally the WWE itself feels like an afterthought behind the bloodline. And that's kind of just what it's been for the last couple years. And it's going to continue to be that way, especially with The Rock involved now. It's like, yo, what's more important than that? So like Gunther's title and Seth's title competing for number two is still irrelevant to me in the grand scheme of it all because it's like we all know what the number one is. Like nobody wants to compete to be number two, dog. Like the Lakers aren't out there trying to win games so they can be number two in the standings and come up short in the finals. Like nobody wants to be number two. We all trying to be number one. But until Roman Reigns is dethroned, we're not going to see a new number one. Now, hopefully, Cody Rhodes can do it. If not, maybe Seth Rollins can turn on Cody and then go for that world title against Roman and win that. Or maybe Gunther can defeat Roman. But at the end of the day, somebody's going to have to beat Roman because we can't just sit here and watch people compete to be number two. We need to see people compete to be number one. And we all know what that number one title is. And that's Roman Reigns' World Universal WWE, whatever the hell they want to call it, championship. Am I crazy? Do you agree? Do you disagree with that?
I do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I disagree. I disagree. I'm sorry. I just do. I agree. I don't agree. I'm sorry.
Oh my
I understand
God.
what you're saying. I get it. I fully get where you're coming from, and I don't dispute that fact. I'm just saying that it's really unfortunate that we've introduced a world heavyweight title that's meant to be a number two or meant to compete at, or at least try
I
at some
thought it
level
was
to
meant to be number
compete,
one at least.
at least to compete to be as important as the universal title. And it's not. It's really not. It's really, in my opinion, it's number three right now. Gunther has held this title longer than Seth Rollins has held his title. So much so, people want Gunther to win the WWE World Heavyweight title to try to revive it to be more than what it is. Nobody cares about Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins like that. They care more about Drew McIntyre than they care about Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. And that's a problem to me. That's just a big problem to me. And all in all, I blame the IWC for burying Seth Rollins and for burying this title by making sure that Cody Rhodes had to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 30, especially when we already had Roman versus Rock. Sorry. So CAC is now in session.
CAC sounds crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
CACC.
CACCC.
That word
I
will
was
not
thinking of
fly in New York.
remember the Christian Coalition when Christian had that's what I was
Christian
thinking. Like
Coalition was
CC,
hard.
like yeah, oh God, it
Hey.
was. Facts.
Man, I hate Vince, man.
I don't know, man. I hear you. I hear you for sure. I was trying to get you to crash out, but you didn't crash all the way. I needed Screaming A. Smith on me, but
I know. There was a moment where I was like, you know
Screaming
what?
A.
I was
Smith is
waiting for it. I'm like,
insane.
I
give
was
it
like,
to me. Pause.
maybe.
Well,
Pause. Pause. Pause.
give it to me, baby. Give it to me.
I was trying to hold my composure. I was trying. There was a few times where I was like, I'm gonna
Nah,
crash
lose
out.
that. Lose it. We need that.
Nah, man. I have these.
You better
I,
lose yourself in the music. The
I still
moment
got.
you own it.
I still got some crashing out to do. So
Look, it's
we
only
got a long show.
entertainment. No, but
You know
look,
what
at
I
the
mean?
end of the day,
Only entertainment.
we all love the guys that we're speaking about involved. So like if you're out there listening, like don't think that we're coming at Seth Rollins or don't think that we're coming at Gunther because we really do love these people. We really
Yeah.
just want to see that world title mean more. And like it's gonna be tough. It's an uphill battle. With the way that they've booked Roman to be more important than everybody else, it's gonna be tough for us to see anybody in that light until Roman loses that title. And then outside of
But
that, I don't even know if that's gonna change when Roman loses it.
Me
you about to
either,
say,
because
Cooley?
like even if Cody wins it, that he's the biggest babyface, and they're gonna be focused so much on that title still. I don't know, man. That world might not. It
I
might
just
not
think
ever.
Bloodline. We live in
I,
a bloodline world. We gotta
I,
accept it.
Yeah, man.
the man makes the title at the end of the day, and
Facts, but
I think Roman Reigns right now has held this title for a really long time, and the bloodline it was pretty terrible for a year, but now it's hotter than it's
hey,
ever been. So I mean, I don't know what to
literally.
tell people. Like for a minute I would have been like, maybe we can go, like the past year I would have been like, we can go without Roman Reigns being on TV every week. Like we're fine. We got Cody Rhodes, we got all these different things going on. Like it's kind of popping. LA Knights popping up every, you know what I mean? Like we got Imperium, all these new talents are coming in. But with The Rock back,
We
not
need
even just The
Jay
Rock,
Uso with that world.
with Hollywood
Right.
Rock back, like I mean, come
And he's
on,
like
bro.
back
Like,
for real. He's like on the next like 4 SmackDowns or something like announced.
He gonna
yeah, nothing
he gonna
else
be here for like
matters,
another
bro.
year, bro.
Right. This
Mhm.
it's a bloodline world and we just living in it. Like
He got
at
tired of
some point,
making.
and maybe this is a whole different topic for a whole different podcast, but at this point I almost feel like the bloodline is more important than any title in WWE. I feel like the bloodline is just here and everything else is just below it.
The
Most
bloodline owns
important,
WWE.
the best storyline in wrestling history, man.
Facts. I mean,
Like
at
That's
this
bar
point,
none.
insane.
I would love to see The Rock win the world title and just the bloodline have all the titles. Like, why not? But that's just me. That's just
Whew.
me. But
That remind
I
me of
want
like the
Jay.
that remind me of the Ministry of Darkness or something, or the corporation
right.
I need
there.
Jay to get that title, man.
I need Jay to go back to the bloodline, man. This solo run is
He not
kind of.
messing with Roman, so
Oh, come
that's
on,
not
He
gonna
he
ever
ain't,
not.
happen,
dog.
He
bro.
I
not.
like
He
this solo
not.
ride, man.
I like it. But it's entertaining, but he's not doing a whole lot outside of just like wrestling random matches. Is
Getting
he even
whooped by
feuding with
Jimmy.
anybody?
I mean, Jimmy.
Right.
Jimmy costing him all
Uh,
his chances.
True. That's true. That's true. That's
You
true.
know.
And I'm
No
looking forward for
yeet.
Aftermania. No
Oh,
yeet.
by the way,
What
I
up?
need The Rock to stay far away from Kevin Hart because we have him now and it's going great.
Wait, what?
As long as they're not making no
You an
movies
idiot,
together,
bro.
The Rock is here to stay, and I'm so happy.
You
Wow,
an idiot, bro.
wow.
That's hope.
But yeah,
That's
man, like, yo,
hilarious.
let us know at home how you feel about this topic. Does the World Heavyweight Championship feel like it's number 3 behind Gunther's title? I already know y'all gonna say yes because this is the IWC we talking about, and I know that y'all opinions don't reflect real life, so of course y'all gonna agree that the world title, even though it's main eventing WrestleMania and Gunther hasn't been on a premium live event in like 4 months, I know y'all gonna say that it feels more important than Seth Rollins' title because that's just what y'all do.
Damn.
But at the end of the day, am I crazy? Do I sound insane to y'all? If I do, please let me know so I can tell you that you're wrong in the comments.
Wow, I had
It's
to think about it for a
it's
second.
the
Like,
IWC's fault too, by the way. Just let's just remind that. I'm that's who I'm really mad at. Y'all.
Somehow this is Vince McMahon's fault. I don't know how, but it's his. I'm blaming Vince. Whenever in doubt,
everything's
just blame
Vince's fault.
Vince.